It's Monday on Your View. Welcome to the show. I am Murayo Afolabi Brown. As always, I have the ladies with me. Hello, Mariam. How are you doing?
I'm fine, thank you. How are you?
Not bad.
Okay.
But,
yeah, so my weekend was a good one. I got to rest. But then I started off this week with my school tours. So I'll be reading at county schools tomorrow, and that's just the first of many other schools. So for any school that would like for me to come by and read my book to your students and talk about environmental conservation and protection, I'm available. Just reach out. Thank you.
Is it like you have a vulture on your outfit?
No, this is a flamingo. It was a gift from a viewer, Beverly Jewelry. Yes,
it's so sweet. Building a tribe of...
But you have not noticed the times I put the vulture, because sometimes I do put the vulture.
You haven't seen the
I
vulture?
get this
I
one.
haven't seen that. Okay.
Good. How are you doing, Tokwe?
I'm good. Weekend was pretty interesting. There was one thing I wanted to do all through from Friday, Saturday, and Sunday that I didn't do. I was supposed to visit Dr. Olumide Emmanuel, who clocked 52 on Friday last week. So happy birthday to him in arrears. But one thing I did do was on Saturday, I went to speak at a teens hangout. The hangout was organized by Uncle Okwe, and I really, really enjoyed listening to the teenagers, because apart from the adult panel, there was a teenage panel. And one question came to me that informed a new decision I want to share with everybody. This boy asked about, he's a graphics designer, his school is on strike, and he said he hasn't been able to get anything to do since he learned graphic designing. He even got his parents to get him a laptop, and he's not doing anything. That should he consider Yahoo?
Wow.
And everybody in the hall was like, try, because there was a pent-up frustration among a lot of those teenagers. And I was able to tell him he should talk to me. At the end, 7 boys came to meet me that they are graphics designers, they're looking for a job, and that they can really do the job, but they need opportunity. So I created a WhatsApp group, and now I'm going to tell everybody, if you need a graphics designer, they live in Agege, they can work remotely. 6 of them are students that our school is on strike. 1 of them has finished looking for a job. We must create opportunity for these children if we don't want them to go into crime. So if you are interested, by tomorrow I'll post a flyer they will design, marketing themselves on Twitter, and you can call their number and reach out to them personally to give them a job. It will go a long way
in helping
them.
Yeah. Fantastic. Well done.
We'll support you post as well.
Yes,
This
yes,
is scary.
we repost.
Wow. Yahoo.
How are you doing?
I'm doing amazing. I'm grateful to God. We finally launched
Yes.
Mama Ju on YouTube. We got a lot of, after yesterday, I checked, I saw 1,000 views.
Yay.
I was excited. So this is me still appealing to you guys. You're my fans. I know in IG, I have about 48,000 followers already. Imagine if that 48 rushes to YouTube to subscribe and watch the video. And I got a lot of very positive reviews. It sweetened my heart. It landed in my heart. I'm really, really excited for all the support and all the love. Yeah. At home, we just watched it on the big screen. So I took the cue from Miriam because she posted hers. Yeah, so we sat down, we watched it. We had a good laugh. It was really, really interesting. I'm happy.
Fantastic. Well done.
How you doing?
So proud that you were to launch that and do that.
Thank
I was
you.
busy. I had a coaching thingy. The
How was
line
that?
of Sukure was nice.
Yeah.
101 between Friday and Saturday. It was and Sunday to the whole weekend practically.
Wow.
And then we saw you celebrating.
Oh, yeah, yesterday. And, so on Saturday, I went for the party with the whole family, but Sunday we watched, Nigerian Idol.
Yeah.
And it was so exciting to see Progress win.
Oh, you've been following up.
I've been following Progress. Interestingly, I used to support Zadok, the other guy. I mean, I was a pro Zadok. But the day he now sang, I'll make love to you, and I said, dresses on TV. I say,
oh, no.
Who do you think you are? What is this one?
No, Mommy Gio, not
Yes, Mommy Gio just had to be, Lord, have children watching it, even on dressing on TV. But
that was a bit too much.
The Progress was so amazing because he has a song, Bang Bang. We've seen that innocent boy singing all this while. The day he sang that Bang Bang for the first time, we're like, what? Where did he come from? Who the heck is this? And since then, we've been following him. And he performed that same song yesterday. It was such a pleasure to watch him. Congratulations to Praise to Progress. His family, his father was there.
You have a big auntie.
He was crying.
I think contests are really, really good way to showcase yourself. A lot of talented people get the platform and they blow from there.
Yeah.
So.
And the whole family enjoyed the whole season. Like every Sunday evening, the whole family sits down, everybody's watching. So it was a good family event. But we heard that the other reality show is coming out. Let's go on a break. When we come back, we go through the front pages of the paper. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Okay, we're going to start with Punch this morning. Crisis rocks Rivers, Oyo, Benue, APC factions reject delegates lists. Subscribers kick as FG slams 90 billion naira new tax on phone calls. Nigerians spent $221 million on foreign education in 3 months, says CBN report. We have frozen accounts of 50 firms operating loan apps, says FCCPS boss. Deborah's death. Protesting Abuja, Kaduna, Benue, Plateau, Osun churches defy government's ban, condemn jungle justice. Wicked G3 Dagogo is contesting governorship. Rivers PDP may not have candidates for election, says lawyer. Mechanic Union ex-chairman assaults 2 Lagos panel beaters and victims go dumb. 1 killed as violence parallel polls marked PDP primaries. Children at risk of severe monkeypox cases, says NCDC. Okay, which stories are we taking in Punch? I think we have 2 stories.
So the federal government has mandated all employees and employers in public, private and informal sectors to have access to health insurance. This is good news because normally, according to the Act of 2004, the informal sectors were not captured. So the president signed the National Health Insurance Authority Bill 2021 last week, which repeals the Act of 2004. According to him, he said this is to help Nigeria achieve universal health coverage, which is a sustainable development goal by 2030. Now, every state that has established a state health insurance or contributory scheme and complies with this act shall be eligible to participate in the Basic Health Care Provision Fund and all the other numerous benefits. The NHIS will ensure strict compliance, and they said every employer of labor will be contributing 10% of basic salaries as medical allowance to allow their workers have access to this health insurance. Okay, so I have the story of the Christian Association of Nigeria, especially the Plateau, Benue offices are insisting that they're going to go ahead with the protests concerning the unjustifiable murder of Deborah Yakubu. And, you know, the last time we took the story, we had heard that state governments, especially Plateau State, Kaduna State, and some of the northern states had said that, you know, they had outlawed protests in their states because of how volatile those areas can be, and they didn't want a situation where these protests would be hijacked by hoodlums, you know, and then turned to something else. But KAN is insisting that they will go ahead with a protest, that there won't be a procession, but a protest within the secretariat. Some states are still insisting, especially in Borno State, still insisting that nothing of the sort should go ahead. KAN, on the other hand, say they are not aware of some of these laws, but they're going to try and keep it within, you know, the premises. So let's just see what the compromise will be. The truth is that, yes, it's important that we stand up for what is right and ask for justice, but knowing how sensitive these areas can be, can we have the government now sort of give them security to protect the protests happening within the secretariat from being, you know, hijacked?
I'll take the story of good news for those that have been clamoring and have been clamoring concerning loan apps. The chairman, chief executive officer for the Federal Competition and Consumer Protection Commission, somebody known as the Consumer Protection Council, Babatunde Ireka, has announced, we did an interview with Punch, and he mentioned how the firm has closed down 50, they've frozen the accounts of 50 loan apps, and that they have engaged with 10, and they can say for a fact that 60%, there's been 60% reduction in those malicious text messages and WhatsApp messages. I can attest to the fact that I haven't gotten as many as before, and they said they're in talks with 10 companies. They've shut down 12 apps from Google Store that have found that Gooding loan itself is not bad without proper documentation and malicious process of withdrawing, getting back the loans they're giving out is where the problem comes in, and they're doing all they can. They claim, he says they're not late to the party in terms of regulating that agency because they have done a whole lot within a short time. They started looking into the loan apps, and I'm really happy about this.
Okay, so a pandemonium went down in Ayobo, the area of Lagos State, on Saturday when members of the Nigerian Automobile Technicians Association got into a fight. 2 people were left dumb. So what happened was that the former chairman of the mechanics, the current executives went to a land. It was over a land dispute. So the current executives went to a land trying to see how to hand over the land to certain construction workers. But the former chairman of the Mechanics Association came to that land to contend with them, saying that they cannot hand over the land to somebody else. And they were saying, you're an ex-chairman, you have no business here. But then the fight happened. The former chairman punched them and brought out a ring and punched them with a ring. And the momently they fell down, they were almost unconscious, their eyes went wide open, they rushed them to the hospital, and both of them went dumb.
Whoa.
And they had to start.
It was a charm.
Yeah, it was a charm, the ring. And they were now using their hands for sign to communicate. They couldn't speak anymore. And that's what happened in Ayobo yesterday.
Wow.
Okay.
See, as if
I don't even know
political
how to
season,
process
as if this political is not hard enough. You know, as if
We're
Nigeria is not hard
adding
enough. You know, have these matters. With, you know, it's
God.
just crazy. Okay, let's move on quickly now to other papers. I should have Punch. I just have Punch. There's a Nation. Drama clashes upset as PDP reps assembly primaries. Drama, okay, so APC insists on screening of Jonathan and Emefiele and Ngige. Gunmen kill 4 kids, mom 2 others. Oh my Lord. 4 bodies recovered in collapsed building, Lagos building. Lagos Arewa community Okada restriction. And firms, businesses await CBN's decision on rates. Okay, which story are we taking in the Nation?
I'm curious about the APC drama. So
I wasn't interested. You have the story?
No, I thought you were reading it.
No, the one on Emefiele. I think I'll take that story. Just
Yes, so let me take the Black Sunday that happened in Anambra State. It was really a very painful incident. So 7 persons were killed in various locations in the state. Out of these 7, I think 4 of them were siblings, including their mother. And the attack took place at Isolo in Urumba North Council. The other 2 persons were killed in Abatete. The details were a bit sketchy at the time of the report, so they didn't really tell us what happened exactly. But the police command said they will talk about it when they get a clearer directive on what has happened.
NDLEA have arrested a man called Okechukwu Francis Amechi. He is a Brazilian returnee. He's a Nigerian that's lived in Brazil and was on his way back to Nigeria. He was caught with 24 parcels of cocaine that he had hidden within tires for a lawn mower. It says that, NDLEA says after doing some investigation, they found out that he was once arrested in Brazil for drug-related offenses, and after he has served his jail term, decided to come back to Nigeria with these parcels of cocaine in his possession. He claims that it was given to him by church members to bring to his brothers, because on the parcels they had things, they were labeled, "Oh Lord, have mercy." Another one was "In God We Trust." Another one was "Ijoma." So it's just, really interesting to see that someone who was convicted for these drug offenses did not learn anything from his jail time, decided to maybe take the very last one and bring to Nigeria, and then was finally caught. Well done, NDLEA. And they gave also other places that they've been working across Nigeria and all the drugs that they have seized in the past week.
Let's go on a quick break. When we come back, we'll continue with the review. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. We're still reviewing the papers. Yes, the story in Nation.
There's this apprehension concerning where the CBN will slide the monetary policy's interest rate to. We've had inflation back to back, and according to the Nigerian Bureau of Statistics, the inflation rate has been increasing steadily for the past 8 months. And also, because of that, we might need to review our interest rates to curtail the inflation. Now, the banks and everybody and the people within the monetary circle are aware that there is a 2-day meeting to review the economy and decide on exigent monetary policies in view of the national and global outlook. Since September 2020, we have maintained the same interest rates, and the banks and other financial agencies are trying to be careful to see, is it going to swing upwards or downwards? Bismarck Rowani's reports concerning the economy was, it won't be strange if the CBN decides to increase loan, because most of the governments around the world have had to increase the interest rates just so that they can reduce inflation. I'm waiting to see the way they will swing after this meeting. I just think it's not the right time to just say, let's maintain. When we review, we must make decisions to curtail. Dollar is also 610.
Hey,
as of,
I saw it this morning.
Yes, dollar is 610.
Oh.
$1, 610 naira.
So you think you have money saved in the bank? The value is just dropping every day.
Oh, my shit.
Hey, 610.
What am I saying?
Let's take an ABC story, please.
No,
are you ready?
Don't worry, it's just drama. There's nothing happening. The National Working Committee, they put together a presidential a selection panel that they're going to be screening, not selection. Sorry, I'm just going, this dollar thing is affecting, it's affecting my subconscious. Okay, so there's a 7-man panel that they're going to be screening the presidential aspirants. So what happened was that they included the list of everybody who has paid for form. Although these 4 people, the former vice president, former president,
yeah.
Goodluck Jonathan, Dr. Chris Ngige, the Minister of Labour, the CBN governor, Godwin Emefiele, and the president of the African Development Bank, Akinwumi Adesina. The 4 had picked up tickets, although people paid for the tickets on their behalf. But because they didn't submit, people just assumed that they're not part of the race. But the NWC is saying that because they had already paid for the tickets, they will still be screened. They never submitted. But either way, they are still part of the names that will be screened. So the panel, the screening starts tomorrow. So right now it's confirmed like 21 of all of them, there were 24. 21 of the others, including Ashwaju, Oshimbajo, Amechi, and others, will be screened. To see if they had the
how this would affect the resignation they are meant to resign.
So they did not resign. That's the issue, because they were supposed not to resign. They were supposed to officially write to the National Working Committee that we are no longer running. So they didn't.
They left it.
They left it. They just didn't submit. So that's why it's still in the limbo. But that's why they're still being screened. We don't know what that's gonna mean. Okay, let's take another story. The Nigerian Tribune. APC again aborts screening of presidential aspirants. Naira slapped into 610 to the dollar. ASU strike, security tightened at international airports. Soludo places 10 million naira bounty on killers of Anambra lawmaker. Electoral Act, 5 reasons Buhari has not signed the amendment. Primaries loyalty 2019 experience pushing Bala Mohammed ahead of others, says PDP members. Buratai woos Borno governor delegates for Amechi. And Nigerian dealers turn to accidental cars for profit. Okay, which story you're starting with in Tribune?
Yes, so there's been heavy presence of security operatives at the Murtala Mohammed International Airport and other airports across the country as a result of the threat issued by the Nigerian Association of National Association of Nigerian Students and also National Association of University Students. They collaborated to issue the threat, and they said they were going to be shutting down all international airports across the country if the government refuses to call off the ASU strike. Now, security operatives are being mandated to forestall any form of disruption from these students. They've been having a series of meetings with the airport authorities and security agencies. They also said that all entry points leading to the airport have been manned by security officials. All vehicles that are headed in that direction are being put under surveillance. And this is not only happening at the Murtala Mohammed International Airport, Lagos. It's also happening in Abuja, Kano, Port Harcourt, and Enugu.
Yes.
Okay.
So I have the Lagos State Ariwa community has charged his members to obey, all the existing laws within the state, and through their community, their council called the Lagos State Ariwa Community General Assembly. They had a meeting, and also at the end of that meeting, they had a 9-point agenda, communique, and one, it was, to let the Lagos government know that the Arewa community is a law-abiding community, and that even these laws concerning the Okada ban, they are charging all their members to make sure that they are committed to following the laws of Lagos State. But also they're asking the Nigerian Immigration Service to do a better job of manning our borders and doing their jobs around the borders, because they are alleging that there are so many people that are coming in who are foreigners. They are not Nigerians. They're coming in from Niger, Cameroon, and these people are criminal elements who are using the Okada business, as a cover, and that the NIS should do a better job of trying to fish these people out. But that as a community, they have lived in Lagos, peacefully for many years, and will continue to do so, and they continue to support the Lagos State government.
Okay, you want to tell the story?
Yes, there's the story regarding why the president hasn't signed the amendment to the Electoral Act. The first part of the story, according to the Tribune, was talking about the PDP's allegation that the president wants to spend longer time in office. If he doesn't accede to this bill at the right time, he would have to be in the office beyond May 29th. And for them, they smell foul play. But another part of this is that there are many changes. The changes would affect how soon they would need to submit the details of their candidates. It would affect the delegates, especially for APC. One of the reasons they said here was that the statutory delegates, which is in the new amendment, would make the number of delegates move from 2,200 to about 12,000 delegates, which will make it extremely expensive for aspirants, even in terms of logistics and all of that. So the amendments would cost more money. The amendments might cause delay. And so some people are not a fan of the amendment, while others are pushing for the amendment. I just feel like the president should decide what he wants to do so that we can move. If he's not going to assent to it, don't just make it clear I will not, so that people that are thinking and sitting on that fence will know what to do. We can't afford this. Is about a year from the a handover, not even election. We are still trying to be sure which law we are going to use for the election. We don't know the law.
It's part of this indecision that stalls things
just
in this
say
country
what you want to do
and causes deaths, because you don't make a decision on time. It happens in doing insecurity decisions. We're not very proactive in this country sometimes. Let's move on to the point. Aspirants waste multi-billion dollars on wild goose chase for primary votes as Buhari No Action Electoral Act shuts out statutory delegates. DSS operative testifies at coroner denies beating Osun policeman to death. Nigeria is one of the worst places to give birth, says Professor Kuti. Implosion imminent in APC over transparent, credible primaries. Okay. So just like you had said earlier, people are wasting their money trying to buy votes because we're currently in the current act does not allow statutory delegates to vote. So we need him to sign on time. If not, they're just wasting money. It's just very, very.
If he's not going to sign, he should not sign. Let us know. We are not going to sign this thing. But this indecision and last minutes,
it's not working. Yes. So an operative of the Department of State Service, that's DSS, Osun State Command, David Olowo Oroku, has denied the allegation that he beat a police sergeant named Rauf Fawale to a pulp, thereby causing his death. So while he was presenting his case in court, he said that what happened was on that particular day, he was at the bar, I think a Riverside bar, Riverside Lounge and Bar, Oshobo, having a drink when some people started at about midnight. He heard some people, fighting themselves, and all of a sudden they started throwing bottles. So he hid under the table and was trying to call his DSS counterparts to come, that something was happening here. All of a sudden, he saw that one of them had fallen on the floor, and then when police came, they brought him out from under the table and accused him, told him that he was, so I'm sure all the other people ran away, and so they found him there and accused him and took him to the hospital with the dead body. By the time they got there, they said he was still trying to, he said he was in so much shock, was still trying to explain to the policeman that I'm a DSS official, I just came here to have a drink. I have no hand in this. The woman was shutting her down. And by the time they got to the hospital, they made him pay $30,500 for, for the dead person in the hospital. And then he went home. And afterwards, DSS invited him and said they were going to investigate him. They kept him for 3 weeks locked up while they were doing their internal trial. And he's saying to the court that nobody is hearing him out. They are not allowing him present his evidence, that he doesn't know why DSS is thinking he's guilty, that he's really not guilty. So the judge has adjourned the case to May 25th.
Right.
There's one more story in the point. A microfinance bank has found itself in, as they say, legal web with a customer who was once a senator. This is Senator Sylvanus Ngele. He had gotten an overdraft from this microfinance bank to acquire landed property, and at I think it was 9 million naira overdraft to be paid back over 12 months. And at a 4% interest rate. Anyway, they said by the expiration of the 12 months, he had not paid up for whatever reason. And the bank went ahead to sell that property he had put down as collateral. And someone bought it, but he took them to court. Luckily for him, the court gave judgment in his favor, where he's, the bank was wrong for selling it without a proper court statement on foreclosure on that property. And so they did not take the right legal steps before they resold that property. And so they've been asked to give him back his property. And also for the man who bought it, they have been asked to refund the money and also pay 500,000 naira to that person for damages. So we'll see how that goes.
All right, that's all we can take on Front Page Review. When we come back, we'll put our hot topic of the day. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. So the Lagos State Police Command has warned that both motorcyclists and the passengers who defy the new ban on Okada operations in Lagos State will be arrested, according to the State Police Relations Officer, Benjamin Hundeyin. He said, under the new ban of the motorcyclists in these six local government areas of the state, passengers and riders alike will be arrested. Now, what are your thoughts on this development? Because many people have already embraced or accepted the fact that Okada has been banned in these 6 areas within the state. However, the new information that they also could be held liable if they apply these rules with these motorcyclists makes the story kind of different now. What are your thoughts on this? You can call us on 08127053687, 09139076948. You can also tweet to us at TVC Connect. Please hashtag your VTVC so we can read your tweets. All right, so until you feel it, you wouldn't really understand it. So what are your thoughts on the fact that they're going to start arresting passengers? And, when Nigerians say they're going to arrest, or when police say they're going to, where are you going to put them? Arrest to where? Eventually you're still going to let them go, because this is part of the frustration this brings. Yes, how many Okadas can you literally arrest? Where are you going to put them? When you say arrest, what does that mean? You're going to lock them up where? Do you have space in your cells? I mean, there's just so many questions to be answered.
There's many variables to it. But one of the things that they also said when they talked about the Okada ban was the fact that there's going to be sort of like mobile courts to immediately, try them quickly. And for me, I hope it's not just end up in a jail cell. I hope it's community service. I hope that you sweep that road from the beginning to the end, But it's important that passengers also understand that they are liable. Because if the Okada people cannot find passengers, they won't ply those roads. So it is our responsibility as well as, those who pay for these transportation services to make sure that we're not plying the roads that have been banned. And one thing is, we're asking for the ban. Nigerians need to understand it's for our own good. So if you agree that it's for your own good, if you agree that the government has put this ban for our safety, for our security, then you have to understand that there's a price you have to pay. If, on the other hand, only the Okada people are prosecuted for this, I always feel that you don't always get compliance like that. But when I know that I may be prosecuted for it, I'll be very careful not to find myself in a situation like that. But I want to give one example that happened to me when I was growing up. I got on a bike and was going really fast. So usually when I get on a bike, and for some reason he's trying to get on one way or opposite direction, I will tap the guy or it put me down. But this particular bike man did not stop. He went even faster than before when I kept tapping him, and eventually we ended up on the road flat, you know. Jesus. And I know that maybe some passengers may find themselves in that situation, and I hope that that's why the mobile court would have like an immediate investigation and know exactly what circumstances.
You know, there's some times that is just so. You just need to get to the airport. Maybe there's traffic and you're on the highways and you're like, you know what, I got to catch that flight. And Okada has come to the rescue. Like many people many people that they take that bike either from
the island,
from Lekki, or wherever it is, and straight to Murtala Mohammed, because that's the reality of life. So in that kind of situation, there are those incidences that Okada really comes handy to help.
Yes, but I think we need to start adjusting to how other clients act. So I know she mentioned security and safety. I want to also add health. It's in this country that we take bike from bedroom to parlor, from parlor to kitchen. From kitchen, we don't walk. We don't have that habit of walking. When I travel, I trek and I'll be panting. These people like suffer head though. But I realize that when I come back, I'm fitter, I'm slimmer, I'm fitter and everything. So also it will help us adjust. You know, Nigerians will tell you, we like African time. You have an event by 6. You start taking your bath by 6. You now do your makeup by 6:30. Event is 6. You now, no, even with bikes. They know that I can always flag down something now and be running. Now you know that you have to be at the airport. You set out early, hours early. You plan your time, set out early. You will get there with a taxi. You can trek to the parts that you're supposed to trek before you get to the airport, and you get there in good time. So it will help us adjust some of the things that we take for granted in this part of the world, because anything goes. I can just flag down somebody and just enter and voila, I'm there. Now you know that there's no voila. Now you know that all those corral you used to take bike to, you will walk it. So it helps you set out early so you can get there. And I like the fact that, you know, the passengers would be prosecuted because we are the enablers. Every law that is failing is because somebody out there is enabling them. When you know that if I enter this bike and I'm caught, me and the bike man, we're ending up somewhere. And I also don't want those prisons. There's no space. Like you have mentioned rightly, there's no space. Flog them if you need to flog them. Find them if you need to. No, I'm just saying now. Find them if you need to find them.
Let them flog.
No, they need to flog some people. Let them sweep. They need to sweep. But let us know that this is a law. Yes, this is a law.
Let them clear the beaches.
That everybody
and give them a special
comply.
suit to wear.
Oh,
you know,
yes,
make
orange color, bright.
Orange, you know, there's
neon or yellow.
Something like that. We know that it offenders, motorcyclists offenders.
Yeah.
Let it
stand out.
And I'm telling you, because when I say flog, the reason why I say flogging is important, because Nigeria, we are sick. The truth is that we are not well. And the truth is that we need some iron hand, because if we compare ourselves to others abroad, they're equally sick. But our own people, we need some discipline. Because people, when you see this bike rider sometimes, you think to yourself, are you using your brain? You know? So, but in this, let me come to your thoughts on this. The fact that the passengers are going to be equally liable on this. What are your thoughts on it? Do you agree with you, or do you think we shouldn't go that way?
There will be abuse of power. There will be abuse of power. There will be many innocent people who will get arrested just because they climbed on the bike. There are many people whose life will be derailed for a long time just because they climbed on the bike. And there will be people who will have to bear the consequences of the angry law enforcement agents in front of them. You see, at the end of the day, I feel strongly that we must tilt away from punitive to corrective. Like the goal is not to arrest as many bikes as you see on the road. The goal is to ensure there are no bikes on the road. If that's your goal, then you are preventive. At the junction, anywhere after these streets, you must not pass it. So there is enough awareness before you get to that place that you cannot pass this area. This is another local government. Okada must not pass there. Every local government has security men that wear uniforms and collect these monies from Okada men on the road. Those same people can be made to say, Okadas, you are not allowed beyond this location. We must move away from trying to punish people to correcting them, because you think they're not using their brain. They've never been taught to use their brain. They've never been taught to use that. They're not even aware the brain can solve problems for them. They've always been taught that disobeying gives value and brings money. So if you want to change people that you never educated and you are expecting them to live to a standard of those that are educated, it is wrong. You should go back and check within yourself. Another thing I think the government needs to admit to right now is that some parts of our previous leaders made a mistake in cancelling hailing bikes. They made a huge mistake in cancelling hailing bikes. And we need them. So can we bring back hailing bikes? Can we create... You have Lagos Rides. Lagos Rides is providing taxis for people. Can we have Lagos Rides that would register Okada riders who will wear uniforms? They do it in Kigali. Each local government have a different color of uniform they must wear. And so we've regulated that industry to a large extent, which should apply to buses as well. As long as we are not... We make some human beings feel they are above the law and we cannot handle them, which has been consistent. We cannot handle Okadas. Once they start, everybody will just dodge. Even the police officers that are supposed to enforce, they will dodge when the Okada people team up and start. So if we know we cannot handle them and we cannot find a way to regulate it, then we should take them out entirely. This line can be blurred, which is why I said we will have many innocent people who will say, I didn't know that this is the local government. No, I did not know that I've already entered the Keja. I don't know. Do I know the boundary between the Keja and... I don't know the boundaries. So if I'm a passenger and I get on the back and say I'm going this place, you did not educate the driver, you didn't educate the passenger. Both of us find ourselves in a place that is illegal.
Okay, so I think I like that idea. When you have that no bike zone and it's very clear. Maybe we want to put, you know how we have the yellow and the white marks? This is how we have a red mark. Okay, no bike. There's something that's very clear that both
so you are
the rider
not just
and the motorcyclists know the difference. It's an interesting idea. Let's go to people. When we come back, we'll open our phone lines and get some views from the public. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. We're still reviewing Lagosians' views on the fact that many of them could also be arrested alongside the motorists for plying the areas Lagos State government has barred Okadas from plying. So we'd like to open our phone lines. You can call us on the numbers on your screen so we can hear your thoughts. You can also tweet to us at TVC Connect. Please hashtag your view TVC so we can read your tweets. We're about to open our phone lines. So, yeah, you're going to say something.
Yes, so I wanted to say that the government should also look into repairing most of those roads, especially the local government. So let me not put it on the federal government. Buhari will not sit in a seat and know all the roads that have potholes. But the local government should ensure that, because I know that one of the reasons a lot of people started taking bikes is because the motorists, the cab drivers will not want to go into those roads. I remember when I was coming from Alagbado, that's my road. That's is it Egbado? Yes, Egbado road is horrible. That once I get to the bus stop, the taxi driver say, "Madam, please pay me here. I can't enter inside." And so I resort to taking a bike inside. So, or walking down my house. No, I never sabi walk at that time. So I'll take a bike inside. So most of these roads are really, really bad. The potholes are horrible, especially during this rainy season when it rains and everything. And so the bikes are just like the safest. The people who drive the bikes don't mind getting in the mud, and so they take you home. While you are enforcing no bikes on the road, ensure that the people who are able to take taxis or the Zikeke Napep are still able to ply those roads. The roads are safe enough for them to get into.
Okay, let me take this call from Hassan. Hassan from Lekki. Good morning, are you there?
Hey. Yeah.
You're live. Go ahead.
Good morning.
You're live. Go ahead.
The panelist.
The panel member.
Yes. Good morning, Hassan.
Please, you see, this issue of Okada, I have two ways to the issue on our hands. All of us patronizes Okada because of the traffic situation in Lagos. There are some areas that are inaccessible in Lagos without Okada because of the traffic. And I can see that the people working with the state government and the federal charged with the responsibility of maintaining free flow of traffic have now turned traffic gridlock into a business in Lagos. federal government and state government should look in that direction. And they are making life miserable for the people. You see, when the segment of people started talking against state government, I saw it as unwarranted and disrespectful. But there's a need for state government to go back to the drawing board. A lot of areas, Okada has come to stay because it's not about the people riding Okada. No. Sanitize the system and make sure there's no corruption. Corruption is the first thing that is killing us in this level. Most of the enforcement officers are taking money. Most of them have their own bikes. Their wives have their own bikes. People are eating fat on this gridlock.
Okay.
So the state government should go back to the drawing board and sanitize the system.
All right, we get that point. Thank you very much, Hassan. I think I got the point. But the Lagos State is telling us there's a vision of becoming a mega city.
Yeah.
There's a vision of making this a metropolis that people can come in, businesses can be safe. So if you have that vision ahead, you have to work your way towards it. And one of it is Okada is not in that vision. Okada is not in that future. So we can't say Okada is here to stay. We can find a way, but the truth is that it is very required in certain areas for now. Eventually, maybe they can phase it out. But for now, there's some areas that still require Okada, which we need for now. Yes.
I think I just want to add.
Yes, sorry.
Rwanda is the safest country in Africa. It is. And they have Okadas. Okada riding is not the problem or an hindrance to our mega city vision. It is about the lawlessness of our people and the inability of our law enforcement officials to enforce the law in a way that is humane. That's the real problem. So the few times that they decide to enforce the law, you would see inhumanness and wickedness and vengefulness in the way they will clamp the bike, they will pull the person, people will fall down. Very inhuman behavior that happens when we try to enforce. And then the fact that people just say, I don't get time for this enforcement today. You can have Okadas in a mega city. We are in Africa. Let's be realistic about our environment. But we must now regulate the Okada process and protect human life in a way that they are complementing us and not attacking us as a people. But until we are able to do that, we do what Nigerians do, as our leaders always do, cut off the head when you cannot find a way to cure the head.
Listen, you can't compare Rwanda, less than 15 million. Lagos alone. Listen, Lagos alone. Lagos alone, we're hitting 25 million. The one, the whole country is like max 13 million. The point is that, so there's a difference. There's a huge difference. We're not asking you to cut off the head. I have said earlier, it's important for us to find an area where we can regulate them within the local governments. But we don't need them on major areas. So the mega city, so I go back to the fact that the mega city does not include them. They are not in that mega city. They can be in the intel and the other hands. But that vision I see that the government is driving at, I don't see Okada there.
Yeah, so it's not the, and you're right about, the mega city. We're talking about trains. When the governor made this ban, he also talked about extensively all the other alternatives that is being put in place. We're going to see more buses. Look at the Lagos rides. We're going to see these trains. There'll be better network of people just using the trains and getting off at spots where they can, walk to where they're going or get into taxis or get into buses. And for me, that's a vision I would like to see one Nigeria state start with, and hopefully, this will be widespread across our country. Concerning the bikes, I think we're all in agreement that the bikes need to be regulated. We cannot compare Lagos, Nigeria with Kigali. Because, first of all, some people will even tell you it's not even a democracy. That's one. So one person determines exactly how everything should run. Secondly, here, we have a democracy, but we also have a vision. We then have a whole lot of Nigerians who are unemployed and have found bike as a means of livelihood. So we would have them, we should have them in places where they can apply in a safe manner. We also know that bikes have been used, as we used to have a former governor that told us that when they did the investigation, bikes have been used for serious organized crime. And so we're not just fighting people because they have a livelihood with bikes. We're also trying to fight crime that is perpetrated because of this bike riding. So definitely it has to be regulated. We need to also have the courts do a proper job. So it should not be monkey business.
Ghana in itself is less than 1 million people. So I can easily regulate bike riders within that state. I know every bike person. I know the colors. it's easier to regulate. But trust me, but it's a good thing. I hear the point, but I think that the comparison is not even.
No. Just a comparison.
Let me take this Olagoke. I'll come to you, BC. Olagoke, are you there?
I'm here.
Go ahead, you're live.
Good morning, Mariah, the ladies.
This, what I want to say is this. They should not ban Okada. I'm here. Yeah. Good morning. I only want to say that, you see, you do not ban Okada without putting alternatives in place. And when you don't put alternatives in place, you punish the people. So I will advise that they should regulate Okada or ban Go-Kada. Is it Go-Kada they call it then? Yeah. Or ban them and regulate them. One, these services are providing employment for people, and they are making a movement very easy for people in Lagos. So if you unban them, how do you want people to move without putting alternatives in place? That is most necessary. Okay. That means we are taking the patronizers of Okada into consideration. Please, that is what the government should do. Regulate them, sanitize them, and those who cannot even speak anything there, just make sure that sanitize and the system will be okay.
Thank you very much, Olagoke. Yes, BC.
I'm sure that in that Kigali that you mentioned,
there
would be, I'm just giving instances. There would have been measures put in place in terms of training of these bikers, because I know that when you compare other African countries and Nigeria in terms of obeying rules, we are very entitled. We don't like to obey rules. I've seen security officials trying to stop bikes or stop downfall drivers, and I see how they react. So what do you want the policeman to do? He should die in line of duty because he's trying to enforce the law. He will do only what he can do. We are not civilized to that point where we allow. Yes, we are not. The people who are riding those bikes,
that will prevent it.
Yes, those people riding those bikes do not have the mindset to obey the laws. They go against traffic, and they are picking it from our leaders who don't even obey the law. So everybody in Nigeria feels, who are you to tell me what to do right now? They see a red light, that's where they are running. Every day I constantly tell my driver, a police will stand in front of us and flag us down, and he's trying to do bragado. I say, me, if I'm on that wheel, I will stop and listen to the policeman. Are you a thief? Why are you running? But he feels, why? I see the car I'm driving. Why will you stop me? That's the mentality of an average Nigerian. Till we get there, we cannot have a civilized mega city with bike riders. So I think the banning will help us phase them out gradually.
They start
training. So I think we need to remind Nigerians.
I would even want a total ban for now. Phase them out to a point where, for the new ones that the government wants to start up, they start going through some series of training and processes before you are allowed to ride those bikes, or else we'll still have those other things revolving over and over, and the violence. We've seen bikers who have been arrested. We have guns, we have bullets and everything, and they are using it as a cover for crime that they commit.
Let me take this call. Good morning, are you there?
Hello?
You're live. Go ahead, please. Nicholas.
Good morning. My name is Nicholas.
Yes, you're live, Nicholas. Go ahead,
I'm
please.
a first-time caller.
Welcome to the show.
Hello.
Yeah, look, listen, this banning Okada, I don't think is the right way. Because like the lady also said, that you did not train someone. I mean, you're not giving someone a training, like what to do or what not to do before you start to say you want to put something in place. Okay? This is Nigeria. Our infrastructure here is different from the infrastructure in other countries. So the way we started our life here is much more different from other countries. People now, Nigeria now is, there's a lot of stress and troubles in this country now that people are using this Okada now to feed their families, to feed their, to train their children to school. So if you say you are banning Okada, that is helping others to take care of their families, how then do you think those people that are riding these Okadas will be able to take care of their children?
Nicholas, let me stay on you for a minute. Nicholas,
Hello,
Nicholas, can you hear me?
They can
Nicholas,
let the Okada riders, train them what to do, what not to do.
Nicholas, can you hear me?
Hello?
I'm trying to communicate with you because you are the average Nigerian calling us, and there are a few things it's important for us to clarify. The government hasn't banned every Okada, so it's not a total ban. Are you clear on that?
Yeah.
Number one, it's not a total ban. Number two, the government also said that many criminals use this bike to commit crime against you and I. Do you understand that also? So we understand the third leg, that there are Nigerians, real Nigerians, who are trying to make an honest living. Right in the backs, absolutely. So these are the people who are now saying the government should now find a way to regulate this sector such that these people can retain their livelihoods. But we need to fish out those who are using it as criminal vehicles to cause harm to you and I. So you don't see, and if you talk to the head of any Okada group, they will tell you that they go through training. Training is not their issue because many of them go through training. But the truth is, many of them will do exactly what they want to do because it's not being enforced. Their training is not being enforced or re-emphasized. I want you to be sure that you're clear.
Can I talk to you, please? Can I talk to you?
Absolutely. Please go ahead.
Okay. Listen, I understand what you're saying. I get your grief. What I'm trying to say is that you know that even some forcemen that they have been, that they have stopped their job for a long time. They too have been using this Okada to perpetrate evil also, which you will not even know that these people are forcemen until you get to the root of the matter. So, right, what I'm saying is that, like me now, I stay in Ogun State, okay? And I use, like the other lady said, that you from the house to the kitchen, from the room to the kitchen, I use Okada from the way I stay in Lambe to Ikeja, because the kind of job I'm doing, I have to be there in time. So when I leave home early and get to the street, sometimes I don't even get the Okada in my area. So I have to wait. If I'm using a bus now, I'm going to wait for that bus to come. And before I get to Ikeja, I'm already late. You see? And I can't even do my jobs.
Thank you very much, Nicholas. That's the reality. Let talk about response and then we'll close this.
The thing is, if we cannot have compassion to the detriment of the societal good. We cannot say, people need job. So you see something that somebody is committing a crime and you say, they need job, that's why they are doing it, until the evil of that activity affects you personally. That's when you will realize what is going wrong. Most accidents are attributed to Okada riders. The one that Okada riders inflict on themselves, Igbobi will give you statistics of how many broken bones are a result of bike accidents. Majority of broken bones are a result of bike accidents. When we take the full ramification of everything, I grew up in a Lagos that did not have bike. I used to walk to the bus stop. From my house to the bus stop was a standard walking distance. Bet you now, house to bus stop now, nobody is walking that distance. They take a bike. But we used to walk. My parents used to walk.
Does not allow for
and it was a normal thing.
Walking.
So now we realize if you look at it, the distances that we used to walk before were good for us, but now we've thrown it away. Number one. Number two is the fact that regulation is the right way, and we all agree that regulation is the right way. We're just saying that, do we have enough hands to do the regulation, which is where the idea of making it a co-conspiratory crime, where the rider is also involved, because most of the time, if the rider is not as informed, the person that is getting on the bike might be a more informed person. So when both of you are involved, you will prevent yourself from getting killed or getting arrested, and you will do more. There's a whole lot for the government to do.
Okay, that's all we can take. We're still going to be monitoring the story and see if we can get some more feedback from the police. How they're enforcing, would really like to know how that's going to happen. Let's go on a break. When we come back, we continue with other topics. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Thanks for staying with us. So in a bid to show up revenue collection rate and stimulate tax compliance in order to increase the nation's revenue, the executive chairman of the Federal Inland Revenue Service, Nami Mohammed, will be on the show with us. Good morning, sir. Are you there?
Good morning.
Oh, good to have you, sir.
Thank you very much. It's my pleasure to be with you this morning.
So when the president came on board, one of the key things he had said was that they wanted to ensure they increase revenue from taxes, because we're tired of collecting, because of the fact that crude oil wasn't bringing, we wanted to diversify revenue, and that's why tax collection became very important. Now, we saw in the reports that in 2021, for the first time, you crossed a 6 trillion naira threshold. Tell us about that and how did that happen? Because for Nigerians, only workers are collecting tax, are paying taxes. There's a huge informal sector that nobody's collecting taxes from them. So for us, we don't think there's enough drive to get revenue across the country. So how did you cross the 6 trillion naira threshold, the line?
Thank you very much for that very important question. It is not longer news that the economy of the economy is being diversified by the government, and the reason has been the hitherto cash cow for the nation, which is the oil and gas revenue, is fast eluding us. The reason is something that is not to all of us. When you produce a product and sell for 10 naira to somebody who uses it as input, and then you go back to the person to buy it from the person that used this product as an input for processing a finished product. Certainly, he will not sell that same product to you again at the same price that he got it from you. In other words, the fuel, the crude that we produce as a country is produced and exported out to refineries all over the world. So they process those crude and sell back to us. So the implication of this is that the money we use in importing back the refined product is not up to is more than the money we generated or we generate when we are selling this input to the refineries. So that is why we're having issues today of NNPC or the oil and gas sector not able to generate enough for the government. It's not as if the money that are generated is being taken by somebody and not speaking on behalf of NNPC, but that is the simple arithmetic because of the relationship we have with them. So the emphasis now is that we should look inward or see what we can do outside the oil and gas sector. The oil and gas sector, we all remember, Behind Witness has already laid a foundation for the economy since the early 60s. So now that we have a solid foundation laid based on the revenues that we have generated from the oil and gas sector, how do we now bring that the sector that is currently outside the oil and gas sector to tax net? So we have to do a lot of things. One of them is to deploy technology, because you bear me also witness that today I'm holding a meeting with you. Before now, ordinarily I should have been in a studio in Abuja or Lagos to do that. So businesses are no longer run based on the model is no longer brick and mortar business model. People are no longer seen. You just have to deploy technology to be able to see those that are doing businesses. People no longer even buy food, go out to even buy food, or you place order, the restaurants deliver that food to you. So people don't even go out to even cook anymore. They cook it in their houses and they're making a lot of money. So without technology, you will not be able to bring those people to TaxNet. So that's the first thing we have done. The second thing we have also done is to see what we can do to fix the issues that are wrong with the system, from the issues of operations, corruption, and other things. So we've done very well on that, and the result is what you are seeing, which is we have been able to collect more than 6 trillion naira in the year 2020. Another thing we have taken very seriously is stakeholder collaboration. In a functional world, nobody can succeed without another person supporting it. So what we have done is that from the government, ministry, department, and agencies of government, and then stakeholders like the media, the civil society organizations, the international community, we continue to collaborate, exchange, assist us in seeing or now having access to record of taxpayers. So these are few of the many things that we are doing at FRS today, and that is why we are able to now cross the 6 trillion mark in the year 2020.
Okay, so when I heard about the figures and that it was like a first-time achievement, I was, really curious to see why this is so. And you have mentioned technology, the operations, but then I still hear, and then you're saying moving away from crude oil and the petroleum industry, but I still see that the top performing taxpayers are still the petroleum industry. It is still names like Shell, we're still seeing names like Ajib Oil, we're seeing, the regular ones that we expect this sort of monies to come from. So what is exactly the problem with this, those who are not yet performing? What exactly is the problem? Is it the fact that is it an economic situation, or is it that the technology has not reached that part? And I'm talking of the huge informal sector that may not be performing as much as the usual suspects on this list.
What we have done is to say we have 1,000 taxpayers in our country. Out of these 1,000 taxpayers, 20 people still stand out, which today is 50. If you look at the list very well, is 50-50 oil sector players and 50 non-oil sector player. So what that means is that before now, the 20 would have all come from the oil sector. Okay. So that is the first clarification I want to make. Okay. The second clarification is that we are not saying that the 6 trillion we have collected came from only these 20 people. Okay. We only decided to do what the others are doing in other climate, to say, yes, we know that so many people are paying these taxes, but you have done exceptionally well. Even in classroom work, some of you people that did better than ourselves in those days got prizes, while some of us were just clapping for you. So that is what we're doing. But giving you that award suggests that when next is exam time, Mohammed should go and sit and read more so that he's able to also perform and do better than he has done before. So the essence of this is not to say the 20 taxpayers were the people that pay the entire taxes we collected.
Right. That's point taken. Go ahead.
So I like the fact that this, is to ensure compliance, to, encourage other companies to comply with the tax rates. Yes, it's very laudable. Yes. But what happens to those organizations and companies who are not able to comply? What grace period do you give to them? What sort of punishments do they get to deter other people from, not complying with the tax rates?
Well, what we have done is that we have come up with a function which we call Intelligence, Strategic Data Mining and Analysis Department. So what those young men and women are doing every day is to make sure that they check records, the banking record that we have from the Central Bank of Nigeria today, to see those that are actually paying and also see those that are not currently paying. For those that are paying, we match their record to what they have already submitted to us by our financial statement and the monthly VAT returns they are filing. And for those that are not paying, we send assessment to them and give them deadline. The moment they don't come up to pay on the expiration of that deadline, we go back to the banks to, as a first step, place lien on the account. So in as much as you have not accessed the money that is your own, you are not able to do anything again, you are now forced to come to us and pay your taxes. That is the first thing we have done. The second thing we have also done, we are doing today, is jointly with the Joint Tax Board members, that is the 36 state internal revenue of Nigeria, including that of FCT. We are trying to deploy a blockchain technology, which we call Data for Tax Initiative, we've got to an advanced stage of that development of that technology, and we are confident before end of this year that the technology will be deployed. What would that technology do? With single type of a name, even if at random you decide to just say, let me match names, you will be able to have access to everybody's record, even the digital players that are resident and or not resident in Nigeria, in as much as somebody will transact business with them and is in Nigeria, whether a body corporate or an individual, we are able to now have access to all economic activity of the person. Whether you buy land, you go to school to pay school fees, is it a new car you buy, the states and ourselves, we are going to be able to see it. The information for the state is that they will be able to raise personal income tax assessment for the individual. And in our own case, the corporate body that they do business with, were able to transparently see the person and also bring him to TaxNet.
Fantastic. Let me go on a quick break. When we come back, we continue this conversation. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. We still have the Executive Chairman of the Federal Inland Revenue Service, Mami Mohammed, still on the show with us. Yes, Dr. had a question before the break.
Once again, congratulations on the achievements of hitting this target, and we're excited about the opportunities that revenues from tax would keep on increasing. But I've gotten this information from several people, because maybe they know I'm on the show, or they know because I run a business, that sort of reports some activities of officials of the of your agency, and how settlements go on behind the scene to reduce the bulk cost of what will have come in revenue to our country. And the one consistent thing about the conversation I've heard from these people, and it is not, it's fact, I just have to protect the names of these people, is that they get visits from your officials with this huge amount of money they are meant to pay as tax, and they are giving room to negotiate, and the discounted fee, most of it goes into their pockets, very little goes into the government. The conversation now is worrisome because it makes us feel like Nigerians, the funds that Nigeria can make as a country is largely reduced because within the government there are people that are benefiting and feeding fat. And I was saying it jokingly on the show a few weeks back that if the FIRS visits and shreds all their staff and their salary and their assets and acquisitions, you might find that many of them are living above their salaries, and it might help you find who's the more within. What are your processes within the organization to find these people, and how are you using technology to bridge these gaps?
Thank you very much. This is the most difficult question I've been asked since I was appointed chairman of FIRS almost 3 years ago. But the fact of the matter is this: it takes two, we were told, to tango. We have made every effort using technology to ensure that we stop this type of sharp practices, in addition to other measures that we put in place. But it may interest you to note that taxpayers themselves or their representatives are our own problem. When we introduced our in-house technology last year, in-house built technology, Tax Max, our homegrown technology, for ordinary filing of company income tax returns and value-added tax, the kind of noise we had in this country, as if the entire heaven was going to fall. All we said, do your own self-assessment online. and pay your taxes. But people resisted simply because they knew if they did their settlement and they don't pay in good time, penalties will start counting. So that is the first thing I want to bring to your attention. The second thing also is that you have 21 days that follow the month that a transaction happened for you to be able to render VAT returns to FIRS by our own law. The implication of that is that this is in May. On the 1st of May, if you sell any good or product, you don't even need to come to FIRS to remit the VAT on that product until in about 50-something days. That is the law. But Nigerians will still wait. The deadline will pass. They will still not come to file these taxes. But with the technology we have deployed, the system automatically raises assessment or penalty and interest based on the law. So that is why Nigerians were resisting. So if you say there's corruption in a system and somebody is trying to fix it, why do you fight the person? The reason is that you also are benefiting from what used to happen. There are assessments that will be raised. They know that this is correct. They know that the assessments are correct. Go to the bank, make the payment. They will still lure these officers to one corner to plead with them that the company or my own business is facing one problem or the other.
It's a Nigerian thing to do, to beg. All right, I have to wrap up with you very soon. I mean, I think you've been very clear. You know, 3 key things you've done so far. You've employed technology, and I like what you said earlier about the blockchain technology, which you're using to be able to detect automatically where the red flags are. I like the fact that you're also fixing the operational issues and you're engaging stakeholders across board, which is great. But I would really like to know, what's your estimated figure of how much we should be making as a nation if indeed all these technology and the operational things you've done to fix the system works? If everything works smoothly, how much do you think we can really make? Because 6 trillion is a lot of money. But what's the capacity that we have to make within the FIRs, from the FIRs? Okay,
let me answer you diplomatically, ma. Nigeria is the largest economy in Africa. Our total tax collection last year, from the state, the custom, and the FIRs, came to just about 13 trillion naira. 13 trillion is not even up to the personal income tax paid in South Africa by a population that is almost a quarter of our own size. I've always said, in a commercial city in Nigeria, the number of billionaires you have in Nigeria is more than what you have in the whole of South Africa. Yet, they get 16 trillion naira as personal income tax alone. We have about 10 tax types, from company income tax, petroleum profit tax, VAT, withholding tax, up to the payee that the states collect. Put together with the custom proceed, it came to about 70% of personal income tax alone. Then the question you should ask me, what was the total collection of taxes in South Africa last year? Over 33 trillion naira. So we're not collecting anything in Nigeria. Nigeria has not been overtaxed. Nigeria are not paying enough taxes, and we have the potential of doing better than South Africa because, one, we're number 1 economy in Africa. We have a population of over 200 million people. South Africa had less than, it's just about 60 million people. So the purchasing power of Nigerians cannot be the same as their own. Even if they have quality purchasing power, but the numbers should matter. So the bottom line, until we are able to do one thing, bring the revenue administrative authorities into one umbrella, because that was the essence of our National Tax Dialogue this year. We have looked at all these things. The leakages are there simply because you have local government tax authority, you have state Internal Revenue Authority, then you have the one at the center called FRS. And everybody does things in line with the way you feel.
Let me get one final question in for you, sir, before we wrap up. Go ahead, Bisi.
Yes, so I wanted to ask about the tax waivers we give to very wealthy companies here. Have you compared the sort of tax waivers they give in South Africa that you mentioned? Are they giving as much as we give here? Because I'm thinking that we are supposed to mop up tax returns from these wealthy companies to build our nation. But if they get a free card and get away with having a lot of tax waivers, how do we now intend to make as much as this country that you mentioned?
There is no country on earth that does not give tax waivers to taxpayers, particularly the startups, to support them in order for them to be able to save money to grow and to be able to pay tax in the future. Let's leave the corporate, but let's come back to the personal income tax we just discussed. I gave out a figure of 16 trillion naira. This 16 trillion was paid by only 4 million people in South Africa. If you earn a salary of less than 1 million naira in South Africa, you don't even pay as you earn in South Africa. So the implication of that is that probably all of you in that room today, whatever TVC pays you, if it were to be in South Africa, you will take it 100% home. What do? And they are doing very well. The rich pay for the poor because globally, progressive tax system is the answer.
Okay. I think that's all we can take on this. Thank you so much for joining us. And once again, congratulations to this 6 trillion. We just hope, as you said, we've not even started scratching the surface because based on what analysis you're giving to us, we have better capacity to do much more. And we hope that from these feats you have been able to accomplish in the coming years, we'll have more revenue from the FRS. Thank you so much, sir, for joining us on the show.
You're welcome. Thank you for the opportunity to speak to you this morning.